Right, we are live. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the Kiwi Lads channel. We are back for our quarter final of the United Rugby Championship. This one, the Bulls going head-to-head with Munster. Now, this game is going to be a very hard-hitting one. The Bulls, they come in as favourites, but Munster are an underdog who have been able to beat the Bulls on South African soil before. Whoever wins this game, we will quickly get up the draw. Just in the short moment, there we go. So we already know that Glasgow are through. So whoever wins this game, they will go head-to-head with the Glasgow Warriors. And no matter what, that game will be taking place in Scotland for that matchup. And looking through at the starting lineups, Gerhard Steenekamp in the number 1 jersey, Johan Grobelaar at 2, and Wilco Louw slots in at number 3, Ruan Vermaak and Ruan Nokia in the locking duo with Marcel Coetzee, Elric Louw and Cameron Hanekom sorting in as the number 8, Ambroise Papier and Andre Pollard in their 9 and 10 combination. Trevino Jacobs out on the left wing, Harold Foster and Kanan Moody in the midfield. And then to close out with the back 3, or in fact, I should say, we've already done Jacobs, but Kurtley Arendse and Willie LaRue at number 15. So overall, what I look at from this side is they've gone with a lot of experience. They've got that Pollard and LaRue connection. They're trying everything they can here, the Bulls, to walk away with the victory. Looking through at the starting lineup for Munster, it is Jeremy Luckman, Niall Scannell and Michael Alalatoa. Thomas Ahern in the number 4 jersey with Evan O'Connell as the 5, Jack O'Donoghue, John Hodnett and Brian Gleeson slots in as that number 8 option. Craig Casey and JJ Hannerin got there in the end. I should also mention a lot of injuries for this Munster side. They have got no Jack Crowley for this game. They're also missing Tyke Byrne, which I think is a huge hit for this Munster team in general, but their backline is still solid. Shane Daly out on one wing. They've got Andrew Smith out on the other with Mike Haley at 15. Sean O'Brien and Alex Nankerville make up the midfield there, but I will quickly click this button. Hopefully, with a little bit of luck, we will find the pop-up that we are after, which is going to be for these two sides in terms of their benches. They are going to be as follows. There we go. The benches for this one Munster have got Barron, Wickerley in the front row alongside Bartley. In terms of the other forward replacements, Finn and Wickerley in that number 19 jersey with Gavin Coombs, who can be a real impact player at the number 20. O'Donovan, Kelly and Kendelin, the back replacements in this contest. In terms of the Bulls, it is Maka van Staren, Jan-Hendrik Wessels and Francois Klopper as the 18. Cobus Wetzer alongside Jandre Rudolph at 20 with Paul de Vet, Stedman Hans and Sergil Pedersen as the number 23. So pretty good form and pretty good experience in that department for both of these sides. But like I said, a few injuries along the way make it that little bit more challenging, but definitely going to be a good game nonetheless. How's it, Hamish? Says, Yanko, welcome in. Good afternoon. Wilco Louw is out. He is sick. Also, who comes into the starting lineup then? If that is the case, that'll be a big hit, though, to the scrum, because I know that with the absentees in the Munster side, that is where the scrum dominance that you'd expect to see from the Bulls could really play a factor throughout this matchup. And damn you, Connacht, for sending the Bulls to Scotland. We have got there also, hey, Hamish says, Sophia, welcome in. Hope you are doing extremely well. Who bet on the Bulls here. Support a lot of people. They come in as the favourites for this contest. You can kind of understand why when you see the home records of sides in the URC. But the Bulls, this is the game out of the 4 matches. Now, this is nothing against the Bulls whatsoever, ladies and gents. But I don't know. It's a tricky one because the Bulls sometimes have been so good and then in other games just haven't been able to get their momentum flowing. Now, the benefit is, as you can see, they come in as massive favourites, and Glasgow, as the favourite, were able to get themselves the win over Connacht, although that game ended up a little bit closer than some first thought. The Lions, they come in as the biggest underdog of the round, hoping to cause the big upset up against Leinster, who are looking for that that bounce back. I forgot what word I was going to say, then my brain stopped working. We have got their loose lips or hips, says Juan-Pierre Bosch. We have got there Francois Klopper, says Bulls there. So who comes into the bench position then for the Bulls? Do let me know. We are still waiting for the coverage to pop in here in New Zealand. We're 10 minutes away from the kickoff of this contest. I should mention there is another game just around the corner, and that is going to be the contest taking place between the Stormers and Cardiff, a rematch from a game that we only saw relatively recently. Bulls power will overcome the obstacles, says Ruth. And yeah, across their starting lineup, there are so many attacking threats. And Ambroise Papier been one of the informed nines throughout this competition. You've got Harold Foster and Kanan Moody making up the midfield. Moody normally gets off to an absolutely flying start, so he'll be looking to continue in that same fashion. But yeah, the 3 South African matches. An OPS from the Bulls, please, says Neo there. Yeah, it's going to be one of those games that if the Bulls take control right from the first whistle, they should win this game. But if they make little mistakes and Munster push them here, we could actually see this one go a lot closer down to the wire. I'll just get the result of the last time that they played throughout the URC season. 1 second, we'll go like this. We'll go like that. Right, URC for the Bulls. The last time that they faced up against Munster, it was a part of this competition, and it did take place back in March. It was the 29th. Bulls won 34-31. Now, that was actually in South Africa. That was at Loftus that game did take place. So, there's a history between these two sides already this year at this location, and it was only a 3-point victory for the Bulls. Now, looking through at the lineups, though, Adogbo scored the last try. He is injured. Jack Crowley was playing. He's not there. For the forward back, they have Jean Klein. He is not playing in this game either, so it could be a very different result. Although I will mention that for the Bulls, they did actually have Kurtley Arunsa and Kanan Moody as their wingers for that game. They had Elric Lowe and no return of Cameron Honeycomb. Covering the Sevens, not a lot today, to be honest. It just all overlaps too much. There's only one of me, of course, so that makes it relatively difficult, so it does mean that we'll have to miss out on a few of the quarterfinals, including more than likely the one involving South Africa. Hopefully Fiji squeeze in there as well, just because I want to see those two sides go head-to-head in the final, ideally. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see what those results do look like on the rest of the day. There was also the game of Super Rugby taking place not too long ago, and currently still happening between the Waratahs and the Western Force. Good afternoon, Hamish, lads and lasses. If we can't tell the difference between lose and loose, seems to be part of the human condition. Says Neo, it's kind of like there, there with T-H-E. Well, I'm not going to spell out all the theirs, but there's multiple theirs that you can spell. We have got there, come on, Munster. Says, didn't I watch the first Blues versus Chiefs, and I actually felt the Blues were much more dominant. And dominant tackles gain line success. And despite that, look at the scoreboard. The thing is, their loose forward trio, to me, has a lot of potential. And I do actually think if you look through at those 3 men who were starting, in Torian Barnes, you had Anton Segner and Malachi Rappling, there's potential that could be the starting 3 if they went that direction next year. But there's also all the rumours, seeing as Papali and Satutu are both going overseas, that they may look at switching in and out a little bit, maybe bring in someone big. But it would be a shame for those guys who actually probably held their own. And I mentioned at times did better than the Chiefs' loose forward trio, although Satiti led from the front, of course. We have got there, hey, Hamish, how you holding out? Thanks for staying up for us. No worries at all. We are going to be up right through to about 9 a.m. tomorrow morning. So we've still got another probably 10 hours or so remaining, with probably about, I'd say, 6 hours of commentary along the way. Let's go Munster, says Connor. But the next game, it has taken place straight afterwards. And yeah, we are going to be covering that one on the channel. That is between the Stormers and also for Cardiff. But we have got there, Rappling, Torian Barnes and Segner. Damn, those guys have potential. The work rate, the physicality, the explosiveness. It's got everything, says Tanner too. And yeah, I think that the crazy thing was Rappling was probably the most quiet out of the 3. But at the same time, he was still very busy. That's the kind of exciting part of it. Those boys just kept on looking for work. They wanted more opportunity. And I think that is actually something, I know that it's like, I wasn't meaning to transition into this game, but Honeycomb, having him back, he is everywhere in the games where he is really flying forward, getting the ball in hand, winning the ball in the breakdowns. It's the type of thing that can help a side go from good to great. And the Bulls are going to have to be great today. We have their Bulls all the way, says Royalty of the Void. And Irish Rugby is going through the changeover, I hope, says Anti-Doofus there. I think the Crusaders beating the Blues next Saturday. Yeah, although the chances they will still be able to go through, seeing as their 4th qualifier. So that would mean that the lucky loser would probably put them into the semi-final up against more than likely the Hurricanes. Can you explain how the Nation Championship is going to work? So pretty much 6 sides from the south, / including Fiji and Japan, go ahead, deal with the 6 Nations sides. From there, you play your 6 games, and then the highest ranked qualifiers go into the semi-finals, etc. You cannot play up against the same hemisphere as yourself in the final, but it's all going to be kind of like a miniature competition with pool stage, and then you go into the final playoff games. And yeah, that's kind of the gist of it. So as we get closer, it will make more sense. I really resent Kodak. Is that because they lost to the Glasgow Warriors and are making the Bulls travel up north? I'd assume that would be the case, right? The Bulls are a Springbok team. How can they lose? Says Johan Labuskachny. It happens. At the end of the day, rugby is unpredictable. And I do think that in this scenario, I know that it's harsh, and I know that I probably shouldn't say it, but I'm going to say it anyway. If there was going to be a South African side to lose at home in this playoff round, the quarterfinals, I think the Bulls have more chance of losing than the Stormers. Mainly because the Stormers, they lost to Cardiff in their last game, so they'll be more than fired up. Because that last thing that they would want is for Cardiff to be able to beat them on home soil too. Plus, we have actually never seen Cardiff or the Stormers win against each other away from home. Whereas in this Bulls-Munster matchup, we saw this as a final. And the Munster side were able to get the victory. We've seen them play a few times and really get that close and competitive type of match going. At 22 degrees Celsius at the moment here. They have got the cheerleaders out on the field doing the pre-match dancing. I think those cheerleaders look like they're about 6. As in like age 6, not 6 of them. I read my message, Amos. What did you say? You said what happened if the Crusaders lost next week? Are they out? Not necessarily. It depends on the lucky loser situation. So it can all happen, but giving early excuses. See short videos, and when the Bulls lose, will they then be the lostest team of the URC? No, you'd probably give that to the ones who are at the bottom of the table, I would say. And sorry, Diab, I just wanted to get that off my chest. Sorry, I think I misread. Oh, no, I didn't read that one. The interesting thing is that they are all pretty much the same size. The open side is 6'4", number 8, 6'4", and the blind side 6.5. Uncanny chemistry like Satisi, Larkai, and Savia trio, says Tanner. Yeah, I just hope that they don't butcher it in terms of sticking someone else in there and putting one of those guys back to the bench, because I think they've actually got a winning recipe. They just have to be willing to try it. You know, give it a bit of a crack. I'm just looking at the odds as well, ladies and gentlemen. And currently the way that it sits, it does seem like they're calling this one a little bit closer. Not by much, just a little bit. You even pronounce wrongly. You're an enabler, says Neo. Which one are we talking about? What word was it? We have got there, they're losing to the Brumbies, says Fortnite. And Pollard for president, says Johan. And it's pouring down after the Tars versus Force. Tars by 3 with 20 to go. Oh, see, they were down by a big margin, the Western Force. Loose, says Neo. And we have got there Amish looking fabulous again in his great grey hoodie, says Ruth. Japan are aligned to the Southern Hemisphere, but Northern Hemisphere because they align time-wise. Shouldn't South Africa be aligned with the Northern Hemisphere, says Fleshin. Yeah, I think they've tried to just call it like the Pacific Championship and Rugby Championship teams, kind of slightly combining them, but yeah, it kind of works out time zone-wise that South Africa are on the same as the ones they're going up against. Will you stream Game 2 of Origin? More than likely, yes. I think it's taking place on a Wednesday, so that will work relatively nicely, but both of these sides now making their way out onto the field. Munster going first. Get ready to go for this game at Loftus. And they will be rearing to go for this one. Craig Casey, the Munster captain here, getting ready to go for this contest. I got Leinster to win, says Fortnite NBA. My headphones were sliding off my head a lot earlier on today. I think I was like nodding, but then when I nod, they don't fall off. So I must have just been doing subtle neck jolting. Something along those lines. You're streaming Rugby Sevens tomorrow? Yes, tomorrow, but not so much today. We're giving updates on these live streams. How's the weather? It is a beautiful day today. 22 degrees Celsius at Loftus, so no problems whatsoever. G'day, Hamish and everyone. How about them Chiefs? Yeah, they had their second highest scoring game up against the Blues. Since 2009, I think was the last time that they got 61 points that day. They got 59, the most recent one. You see oh yeah. On my old desk, you couldn't actually see when I put my drink bottle there, but this desk is quite wide. I could put it over there. Put it out there. That's quite a wide frame. Thanks, Hamish. So looking forward to these two games as I just play with a drink bottle. But yeah, the Loftus crowd well and truly getting behind the Bulls here. I'm in the stands here at Loftus, says Mark. Any signs of rain clouds, or are we looking good from all angles there for the game? It looks like it's going to be sunny the whole match, though, which is absolutely fantastic. Villy LaRue, the last man to make his way onto the field. Hamish, read my message. Tell you what, we're missing a few today, and people are really wanting them going through. Ioane Moananu is set to join the Highlanders for the 2027 Super Rugby season. Thoughts? It'll be all right. That's about all I can say to that because we don't know whether or not it's like completely confirmed, but I don't know whether or not they'd start him or have him off the bench. The Crusaders had him as their third choice when they had George Bell as well as Cody Taylor. But yeah, we'll wait and see where he ends up in that regard. But now they are just showing that late replacement and Francois Klopper. Our winter in Pretoria is hard to beat, says Young Coat. And Kutley Aronsson not injured, says Ben there. Andrea Piardi ready to go. Oh yeah, they have got Kutley Aronsson on that injury list, even though he's playing in this contest. Jesus, you can rap, man, says Sophia. I think I've only written one rap in my life, and it wasn't actually on purpose. We were supposed to do a national anthem for Antarctica, but in the tune of the New Zealand national anthem. But me and Isaac misunderstood, and we wrote a rap about Antarctica. We still passed, though. Now, the Blue Bulls, or the Bulls in blue, and Munster in that bright red. Now, JJ Hanrahan in the starting lineup. That is due to the injury of Crowley. And we are now underway for the quarterfinal, the second one of the URC. Whoever wins this game, they will go on to face the Glasgow Warriors, and that one will be taking place in Scotland. Now, it's quite the mountain to climb for whoever it is, but inside of the 22 in Bros Papier. Ready to fire this ball up high. The sun is out at the moment at Loftus, so there might be a little bit of trouble under the high ball. Beautifully taken, though, by Stravino Jacobs, who has done perfectly under that high ball. Fortnight, the games are Canes versus Brumbies, Chiefs versus Reds, and Satyrs versus Blues. Yeah, although that Satyrs Blues game is taking place earlier on the Saturday. That's the 4:35 p.m. kickoff. I should have, like they have in soccer, an international cup. As in like the Rugby World Cup, or you're talking about like outside of that the teams all play? Like the Euros, is it that you're talking about? Or you're talking about like the club style of the Club World Cup thing? All right, again, Hamish, good to see you. Hello from Kazakhstan. Says Jonathan, welcome in. Well, that one hasn't been taken cleanly, although Stravino Jacobs has knocked it back onto his team side. Now Johan Krobela looking for the offload, but Niall Scannell was ready to take that ball back. Craig Casey sells a couple dummies, decide backline movement. That was a full pass from Michael Alatoa right in front of the referee, although it doesn't seem like any of the Bulls players picked up on it either. Okay, now they've gone back. I think the TMO may have been involved in that. So it does become the scrum feed for the Bulls. We have got there 7:05 for what time is Chiefs versus Red. So yeah, there will be 7:05 on the Saturday. And the Brumbies Hurricanes is on the Friday night, 7:05. And then Blues versus Crusaders is the early game, 4:35 on Saturday. An afternoon, Wild Lobster, says Roof there. The DJ's already cranking up the tunes. I think the Tars have had 5 people go off. Geez, that's brutal. 932 kgs for the pack weight of the Bulls compared to the 921 kgs of Munster. So 11 kg advantage in favour of the home team. Although normally the way that they play, their scrum really does push like it's 1,000. Now, trying to push that one forward, and Bros Papier driven back by Jack O'Donoghue. Shutting down that first scrum nice and early there, Munster. Yes, like they have 6 champions of the 6 Confederations Cup play against each other. Similar to the Champions Cup, but from across the world. Well, we have a Club World Cup coming in 2028, if that counts. The top sides out of Europe going head-to-head with Super Rugby and Japanese top league teams. Now, big run from Kana Moody. Passes on the outside. That one's also forward. And they will go back for it. It could have been the runaway for Stravino Jacobs. But just got the timing slightly wrong. Seems weird to have the evening game out in the Tron night weather and the afternoon evening game under the roof. Yeah, you are right. I think it comes down to... I think they get to choose, though. from what I remember. I think that the sides, so like the Hurricanes would have got to choose which game they wanted. So they've gone Friday night, although they may have been given that as well as top qualifier, because then you've got more time before the next playoff game. So it does make quite a bit of sense. But yeah, I think the Chiefs then got to choose what game they wanted, and they chose the later night fixture. Jeepers Moody skinned the whole line. He did it as well in, was it the last game or the one prior, where he just kept beating defenders. And he just, carved up for the first about 20 minutes. I think that sounds good as well, like FIFA World Club with the Cup. Says Heaney. Yeah, so it is taking place from 2028 onwards. And I think that would be, I'm trying to remember, it's either 14 or 16 teams. It might be 16 teams. And now another scrum feed, this time for Munster, just on their own 22 currently. Need to feed this ball, and Jeremy Luckman in the front row alongside Michael Alalatoa as well as Niall Scannell. Okay, no space in the scrum. The late change there for the Bulls with no Wilco Lowe. It does bring Francois Klopper into the starting lineup. An excellent break by Moody. Unfortunate about the pass, one chance gone. You see a huge score happening. Both sides seem like they've come to play and come to score a lot of points too. So, I mean, we saw 93 points in that Chiefs Blues game. I don't think we'll quite get that high because both of these sides, I'd like to think, would pride themselves on a bit of defence for the quarterfinals, but I'm thinking over 50 points could be on the cards here if they both keep on attacking. Big scrum from the Bulls. That ball never came out there for Munster, and now the Bulls have managed to get themselves a steal, but that will be an absolutely huge confidence booster for the home side. Possession now, sitting 15 metres out from the line. Away to the right again. Trying to get it out was Ruan Vermaak. Offloads to Cameron Hanekom. Offload to Papier. He ducks under. And they score the first try of the match, the Bulls. It's only taken 4 minutes, but they've got it. And it's just now, the reality of this game may have just set in. But that was a good run from Cameron Honeycomb, and a nice little ducking play there from Papier, skinned underneath them. And then just dodging Niall Scannell to be able to finish it off with the chef's kiss for Ambrose Papier. I'm at the game, what a try, Bulls, says Marco. We have their Bulls by 42. Oh, my Munster needs to get into this quickly. Yep, I mentioned about it just before the game as well. If the Bulls start off quick, I don't see a way Munster come back. But if the Munster side can be relatively close at half-time, there's still a chance for a second half comeback. I'm in Cape Town for the Stormers game. Well, hopefully you are thoroughly excited going head-to-head up against the Bulls, up against Cardiff, the Blues. And get in, Bulls. How's Hamish brother, says Bertie V. Welcome in, mate. Hope you are doing extremely well. JJ Halloran. That one off. Nice take from Elric Lowe inside of the 22. The Bulls, if I don't want to say anything too early because, we're only just starting this game, but the Bulls, they might be looking for some really high points here because they have to go to Glasgow. So whoever wins this game wants to be in good form heading into it anyway. Loose ball, Craig Casey gets driven over the sideline. We have there going the Bulls by 7, says Bertie V. Looks like a little bit of afters there as well between the two sides. A little bit of push and shove. But, yeah, Munster needs something soon. I really hope the Stormers win. Well, they do come in as favourites for that contest, so that is good news. But, yeah, they were defeated by Cardiff only last week prior. Craig Casey better think twice before starting stuff with Elric Lowe. He's like half his size, there's Youngko. Yeah, although sometimes halfbacks, they seem to like doing that, firing up a guy much bigger than them. Yes, sometimes it backfires and they get smashed in a tackle, but if it doesn't, then sometimes the big man has the temper and does something that he shouldn't, which results in him getting taken off the field. Oh, big clean out there on the breakdown on Mike Haley, but the Bulls now still in possession with Ruan Nokia. Captain of this side again. Got quite a few leaders across this lineup. You've got Andre Pollard, Willy Leroux also thrown in there. You've got to put probably the name Elric Lowe, as well as Marcel Coetzee. Back across to the right to Stennekamp. Tackled by Scannell. Been a busy man early on in this contest. Now spinning and driving him almost into touch there was the Munster defence. Now Vermaak. Still going forward for the... Oh, that doesn't look good. There might be a man sleeping under that breakdown. You know, he's sleeping bad. I think someone's been knocked out in that last breakdown for Munster, so I wouldn't be surprised if they do stop the game here. But that one's going to be kicked downfield. Looking into the sun was Willy Leroux, taking it nicely near the sideline. And now going through, Kurtley Arendse. It's another try. They've got 2 in a row here, the Bulls, and they have no intention of slowing down. But that is now 2 tries for the backs here. Kurtley Arendse. In 8 minutes, the Bulls have scored twice. I always admire that in Fluff de Klerk. But I also remember him being ragdolled by, I think, Joe Marler. Yeah, that did happen, didn't it? In the South Africa versus England match. Kurtley Arendse, quick man down the wing. And King Billy, what a legend, says Ben. And go the Bulls, says Joe. Now, 20 seconds left on the shot clock. It's going to be a long day at the office here. I suppose I should cheer on for Cardiff, but I'm not that bothered, says Fleshin. Yeah, well, the thing is, right? Oh, hang on. Oh, time off because that guy's still injured. Not time off because they're checking something to do with the play. They are stretchering the man off the field. I mentioned about how he did get knocked down and he was lying flat. He looks like he's in a bad way here, though. He's on his side at the moment and almost convulsing. Okay, I think they're just going to check to make sure that they get him off as safely as possible. So Hamish, to give us a rundown of the current situation, best case scenario. So, oh yeah, they're getting the oxygen on him as well. This is not good for this player. But what we will do is we'll give you this, which does show you exactly how the playoff games could look. And for a start, we should mention that Glasgow are already sitting through to the next stage. They are going head-to-head with the winner of this Bulls versus Munster match, which currently does look a lot more likely to be the Bulls. Stormers versus Cardiff, that will be taking place a little bit later on tonight, and that will be Lions versus Leinster. The winner of that game will challenge them. Okay, this is not great work from the camera crew, I do have to admit. Normally when a player is down and looking like they're seriously hurt, for the start anyway, they would show like the players who are not the one injured. But luckily he's sitting back up now, Thomas Ahern. But yeah, the camera filmed the whole thing when they were trying to put oxygen on him and all sorts. They zoomed in, trying to get the best angle of the man who was looking like he was fighting for consciousness. But they're going to show the replay now. It's just, looks like the back elbow of Ruan Vermaak. In fact, it might be friendly fire. Might have been... Oh, he got the knee to the back of the head from his teammate as he was making the tackle there. I think that's what knocked him out. It didn't actually look like the hardest blow, but it just got him right on that little thin muscle there that put him out. And seems like it's completely rocked him in terms of his equilibrium a little bit here. And what player is Thomas Ahern, who's down at the moment. How did Glasgow play last night? They went all right. Connacht pushed them. But... yeah, they definitely, I'd say, were surprised by the way that Connacht were able to work. But Thomas Ahern, yeah, he's back up on his feet, so that's one thing in this scenario. And he didn't want to get stretched off the field, but he will not be continuing. Key player gone, says Jimbo. Definitely when you consider the fact that they haven't got Tyke Byrne. So no Tyke Byrne, no Thomas Ahern, no Adogbo. They almost don't have a line out at this stage for Munster, is the sad reality here. And they're only 10 minutes into the game. And they're 14-0 down if Andre Pollard converts this. And we have got there Shane good luck for injured player. Not nice to see that. I think it's Munster's 4. Yes, it is. Thomas Ahern is off. And just came back at the last moment for Andre Pollard, and the kick does go over, do you think? Or who do you think will win the URC? My money's on the Warriors. I'm intrigued to see what happens because the Warriors, by the sounds of it, they are going to have the home semi-final, but it sounds like they're going to go to somewhere else to play for the final, which almost, to me, doesn't make sense. I get that they want to get more people in the stands, but at the same time, they have such an impressive record at Scotstoun Stadium. They have only lost 3 games, I think, in their last 3 seasons at that location. So it's that whole thing of revenue versus like increasing your odds of winning. And it seems like they're going for the revenue side. But of course, they have to get that far first. They will have to face the Bulls more than likely. And Murrayfield semi in the final. Oh, they go on Murrayfield for the semi as well. And the final is in Scotland, just not at Scotstoun, right? And Tars lead 31-25 and 9 to play. So here's Highlanders. Yeah, it's a hectic time in rugby at the moment. We have seen, you've got the sevens going on. There's Super Rugby and URC all overlapping right at this moment. There's probably something else too, to be fair. There's cricket going on, I think, as well. They're going to Murrayfield because of the Commonwealth Games. There's Neville there. Have they played a home game at Murrayfield before? Or have they, I guess the last time they probably played it was up against Edinburgh, right? And Leinster versus Glasgow final, I think, says Lewis. Now Craig Casey, ready to feed this one home. Papia take his time on the scrum. Although they have got the feed here against the Bulls here. Munster, nice run forward. Moving up to 22 metres out. They need to be the next team to score or else this game could be done and dusted. Now Alex Nankervel. Looked like the referee for half a second had his arm out, but I don't think he actually gave an offside advantage in the end. Due to the community games, no Aviva or Croak either. Have Leinster make it to the finale? Oh, so where did Leinster play in that case? If they haven't got the Aviva or Croke Park, they'd have to... Where would they go? Are you covering the FIFA games? I'm not actually too sure yet. I'd like to, but at the same time, there may be overlaps. The Commonwealth Games is the issue, not revenue. Says, okay, buddy, 1, 2, 3. Oh, well, they should be able to make more money at a bigger stadium anyway for Glasgow, which is a positive. That is, of course, the incentive. Well, it's one of the incentives to go through, as well as getting themselves another big title. Tallet Stadium. Who normally plays there, Sean? And if I will be in Murrayfield if Glasgow get to the final, says Neil. It was a good rolling maul initially for Munster, but then they just got halted. The Bulls are going to have themselves the scrum feed from inside of their 22. And all the sport is happening in June. Yeah. The Under-20s Championship is coming up soon as well. That's going to be a ball out the back and too much movement, says Piatti. A little bit of wrestling going on the ground. Maybe only cover the New Zealand, Australia, and South Africa games for the... I assume that's for the FIFA World Cup, right? I was thinking about it. Oh, it was interesting from Marcel Coetzee. He faked as if he was going to headbutt the replacement lock for Munster. Unless that could have also been maybe the Munster guy pulling his collar. But yeah, Marcel Coetzee kind of looked like he was half by going, I'll whack you. But you shouldn't do that because then rear card here for the Bulls would completely halt their momentum. We have there any Warriors fans in the stream. It's going to be interesting to see how they go up against the Panthers tomorrow, isn't it? Right, Craig Casey, he's been called over to have a bit of a chat alongside Marcel Coetzee. A big size discrepancy between those two men, but Piatti just trying to take control of this game, saying, no, boys, we're not doing any more of that fighting. But yeah, scrum reset due to it turning around. It was Craig Casey getting pulled in by Marcel Coetzee, so that's actually what started the altercation. And Glasgow Union and Kingspan. And now Fidea Stadium for the finale. Warriors are in the finale. Croke Park if the game moves to a Sunday. Now big scrum again, and it does bring the advantage, and the penalty now awarded to the Bulls. And that's standing up in the scrum against Jeremy Luckman. It's going to be happening time and time again throughout this match already, it seems. The Bulls, they know they have the strongest scrum, even with the absence of Wilco Lowe. And they're just going to be able to use that as... It's almost like a foundation. You know, no matter what happens, even if, let's say, the Bulls drop the ball, there's a chance they get it back because of that scrum. Now, line out here. Nokia, he will get this call I mean, they got 4-man line out here. They do drop it up to the back to Ruan Vermaak. Now moving forward. Oh, it was an awkward one for Marcel Kutz. He actually ended up in front of his teammate. Obstruction. Oh, what did Piatti say there? Later next scrum, he just said to Niall Scannell. But I don't know what it was. And went Bilbao, 4th time to see the finale loss. Bordeaux were unreal to watch live. The crowd as well would have been insane. Even if you were going for Leinster in that scenario, like the amount of Bordeaux supporters that were around the place was absolutely insane. You know, you saw the flags. You saw you heard the screaming for their side. Now going away to the left-hand side. Craig Casey, short ball there to Alex Nankervel. Now Casey. Seems like good defence from the Bulls, not allowing too many easy meters. Now short ball. Score 14-0. That is correct. Yeah, that scoreboard hasn't. There we go. Now it's updated itself. I think it was doing the time, just not the scoreboard. Now Craig Casey goes off to Luckman with the inside ball. Or Richelieu, who's only recently made his way onto the field due to the Thomas Ahern injury. Now backline movement here. There's an advantage against the Bulls again. Bulls slowed down maybe a little bit. I think it's just more so Munster have woken up a bit more. They've got in the scenario now where they're starting to get a few more phases put together. Now moving to the right-hand side. Oh, Trust offloading it to John Hodden. It almost wasn't even a pass. He's back up on his feet, and he's just short of the line here. Craig Casey, oh, that was a hard hit on him. Sounds like there's a forward pass that they've found. Okay, John Hodden, they've said that he received a forward pass. So they'll go back for the penalty. You think UBB have the bigger fan base than the Chiefs? As in like the Waikato Chiefs, absolutely. I don't think it would even be close either. But forward pass. This one, they will go back to the middle of the field. Wilco is replaceable, but Nokia will take his place, be the same engine level. Uckus must bring Mostert to the Bulls. Or Franco Mostert would be a big signing, wouldn't he? We've already seen a few of those overseas guys heading back to New Zealand, to South Africa, like Cheslin Colby. He's heading back for the Stormers. So maybe the Bulls make a marquee signing just like that. Finally get to sit down. Only the one scrum. How was it? We've had 3 so far. 2 of them have been pretty dominant in favour of the Bulls. Right, Piatti's just... Okay, they were just getting some of the technicalities of their audio issues sorted. We have you there, what time for the Stormers? The Stormers are kicking off in just over 2 hours' time. That one will be taking place in 2 hours, 6 minutes. Which half are they in? They are currently inside of the Bulls half after the penalty was awarded. And JJ Hanneran has kicked that ball into touch about 10 metres out from the Bulls line. The force win? Did they come back? 1 second. Because they were down. Where are they? Oh, yeah, no, the Force are up by 6 at the moment on the live score. I assume maybe that game's just come to a close then. But going off to the right, Niall Scannell, pick and go here. I said the score wrong. Says Islanders. I said Tars were up by mistake. Okay, so they were actually leading, hitting a little bit earlier on. UBB has the biggest ticket sales in rugby union club, says Lewis. Now 10 metres out from the line though, Munster, after being able to retain their line out. Nokia, important tackle from the skipper, Luckman. Pick and go here. Hanekom trying to rip it off him. They're told to get out of there again, although they were told no hands, and they decided to commit a few more players in there looking for the steal for the Bulls. You can go again from Rickerley. He's actually ended up on top of his teammate there. Did you see New Zealand Island? I haven't had a chance yet. I actually haven't watched a single over or a single ball of that test match, unfortunately. I know that the one up against the English is just around the corner, But, yeah, I haven't actually had a chance to watch any of the one-off tests. The ball is still there for Munster. Going a bit closer was Brian Gleeson. Looks like Hodnett's had his headgear ripped off his head as well. Very physical in those breakdown. And Alatoa a bit slow getting back up to his feet as well. The Bulls looking for the counter ruck. They almost have it. No, they've given away the penalty. Holding on by him. 7 isolated, 8 on the ball. So I think that Eldrick Lowe actually got the turnover there in that breakdown, and then it was taken straight back by Munster winning the penalty after they had just lost themselves the possession. Now there's brutal, says Ruth. And Bordeaux football team is poor now, and the rugby team attracts the football fans as well now, says Fleshin. And we have got there Munster missing Burns, pick and go. Yeah, I think they're just missing Tyg Burn in general. That man in the breakdowns, lineouts, he just adds so much to this Munster team. But, yeah, I feel like at this point in time, 14-0 down for Munster's probably, it's not great, but if they score next, they're still in this. You know, they've got Crowley not there, but Hannahan hasn't been too bad so far. Who got the tries at the moment? We have seen the 2 tries for the Bulls from Kutliarense and Ambros Papier. Now, stop wasting time, Munster play, says Ben. And Hamish who's scoring next. Well, Munster will have a pretty decent chance here to be able to get themselves the try. Clayton McMillan watching on for his Munster side. Another injury by the looks of it. In fact, it's a replacement sock. I wonder if his sock got ripped or whether he went, no, this one's not the right size. Can I watch the Blitzbox and come back for the Stormers game? Go for it. Yep. It is going to be taking place at, what time are they playing? About 1 something, I think, for the Blitzbox versus Australia. I've just had the realisation. This is the last home game for the Bulls. Unless everything in the semi-finals goes their way and all of the favourites. Oh, so yeah, technically they could still get back for a final. But for that to happen, they'd need everyone above them to have lost their games. That's very close to the line for Munster. Referee Piatti looking around all over the place. He's called it as held up. And it's going to be now the goal line dropout. Hey, Hamish says, Kevin, welcome in. Jack O'Donoghue, he looks like he thinks he scored it. In fact, right, this is quite interesting. So, referee Piatti initially said held up, but then Jack O'Donoghue, when he got up to his feet, he took the ball and he took it with him. You know how you would if you had scored the try and he chucked it to his kicker. So, they're checking for a potential knock-on here. They're checking to see if there is a clear grounding on the line. It looks like it's very close. The Munster was a black and white TV series back in the old days, an older version of the Addams Family. And try, says Jimbo. And also a quick drop goal from Pollard would be a good blow to Munster, says Memento. And thank you for the stream, says Given. No worries at all. We've got another one just around the corner. This looks very close. And they're saying the try should be awarded last home game for the Bulls. You're already calling the result, says Corkay. What do you mean? If that doesn't tell you if the Bulls are going to win or lose by saying that this is their last home game. Because Munster also don't have any home games left. Unless, like I said for the Bulls, how the technicality are there, how they need everyone above them to be knocked out. It's pretty much all reliant on the Lions, no matter whether it's Munster or the Bulls. That they'd need the Lions to just win everything so that they can then sneak in. Held up in my opinion, but fine. On field was trying. Nothing definitively disproves that, says Yanko, but that try has been awarded and it has been converted for Munster as well. So 20 minutes into this contest, 14 points to 7. Alex Nankerveld. It's just inside of the 22 at the moment. Jack O'Donoghue had a poor season by his standards, says Jimbo. Now rolling it back in the breakdown for Jack Crowley. one's going to be put towards the touchline. I expect more from Connacht, or I expect more than Connacht from Connacht yesterday's game. I don't know. I think Connacht really held their own. We've got to remember they were the 8th ranked side heading into the quarterfinals. So for them to be as close as they were was probably a big plus, because a lot of sides playing at Scotstoun possibly would have lost by more than that. But Connacht were in an insane vein of form heading into it. Now, Johan Hrobler with the short ball. 2-man tackle there. A chance of the Lions winning tonight. Pretty slim, depending on how angry Leinster are. Of course, they did lose their Bordeaux final, so they'll be fired up. Looking to get it going, and Kaina Moody not Kaina Moody as listed. I don't think he works for a church. Says Mark, well, it's probably a spelling error. We like to throw one in every once in a while. Keeps everyone on their toes. Last one we had, rather than Rian Paul, it was Rian Ul. But now, penalty there, going the way of the Bulls there in the breakdown. Alatoa not getting out of there quick enough. He's frustrated with that call. And Connacht were 50-50 until Ioane went off injured. Yeah, he started with an absolute hiss and a roar, Ioane. And the call at the post for Pollard here. We have there, hoping the Bulls don't choke their lead like my Blues. Says Rugby Itch. Yeah, that was a high score one. 93 points in the end for that one. And if Lions win, who do they play in the semis? They would play the winner of Cardiff versus Stormers. Is who they would end up with. Now Pollard here at 11:30 p.m. Biltong or ice cream. Both. Would that be good? Probably not. Would biltong being dipped in ice cream be like some sort of really bad sin to do, or would that be actually kind of nice? That one's gone over from Andre Pollard. And that'll make the score now 17 points to 7 in favour of the Bulls. Munster down by 10, but not out of this game because of that last try. They had to be the next team to score. And Lancaster has done a great job at Connacht. Yeah, Connacht, with where they were, I'd say, what would it be? We've had a few rounds of the championships. Probably 6 weeks ago or so, there were a few people who said Connacht don't have any chance of making the top 8, but they were just purely determined. In terms of their last couple of games, their bonus point win over Munster, that was the one that was a pretty big surprise that they were able to get that big boost. And then they did the same thing up against Edinburgh the week after to then say, you know what, we're going to take that top spot, or that number 8 spot, off of Ulster. Now moving away to the right-hand side, Ruan Nokia moving it out to Willie LaRue. Now Moody goes with the ball on the inside to Kutli Aronson. Another offload, doesn't quite work out. Honeycomb unable to take it cleanly. Okay, it was a 4-pass, then a 4-pass, a 4-pass, then a knock-on. So they'll go back for the Munster scrum. Alatoa, penalty machine since joining Munster. He was a little bit of a penalty machine in Super Rugby, though, too. I think that's what you kind of expect. But, yeah, he can give away a few. I wish I could stay and listen to the game, but I may black out and sleep. Good night. Says Sophia, so I'm sure we will see you on another stream in the future. Yeah, currently getting to late night stage here in New Zealand. A few more games taking place right till the crack of dawn. What time is the crack of dawn? That would be right when the sun comes up, right? But then I guess that changes, so there's probably no technical crack of dawn time. There is now Craig Casey with the ball, ready to put this one into the scrum. And we have got there, biltong is delicious enough without ice cream. Says Dimitaro. What's happening in the Super Rugby? So, the playoffs have been confirmed in Super Rugby. It's going to be Hurricanes versus Brumbies, Chiefs versus Reds, and Crusaders versus Blues. Now another scrum here, Craig Casey. I mean, Dawn, she is hot. Says Memento. Oh, I met Dawn. Sorry, yeah. There are some sayings. I said a saying the other day, and I had no idea what it meant. And the more I thought about it, I can't remember what the saying was. It might come to me later on, but now breaking off the back here. Oh, first time's a charm. What does that actually mean? Because, I guess the charm, it's like the the bracelet, right? But now it's sitting 40 metres out for the line for Munster. Ow, that would have hurt Roa Nokia's head. He's kind of landed in an awkward manner. Oh, here's the question again. It's the last stream of the day. Leinster versus Lions, they are going to be coming back. But they are currently probably more than likely sleeping. Now, Luckman up to the halfway line. Now, Foster. Way to Johan Robillard, but another stolen ball for the Bulls. Our first time is the best, I think, says Max Colby. AB7's got a hiding, so that would have been up against Argentina. Right, Trinley Hardens are breaking through. Oh, no. They've gone back for the penalty. They've said there was obstruction because he was massively through. And a huge gap for Arendse looking to get his double. Munster, the way better away team in South Africa, or the best away team in South Africa. Yeah, they've had some brilliant wins, including ones up against this Bulls team. But now, halfway, JJ Hanneran. Oh, he wanted a couple extra metres. The referee wouldn't let him. What was the score in that one, Nov Mum? 1 second. Go here. Oh, no, that's my Google Drive. That's not the app with the scores. 24-0's brutal. Kenya also winning, though. South Africa leading up against the Aussies currently. They got a donut. And they won't be in the Black Fern Sevens versus Australia Sevens. Or there won't be a Black Fern Sevens versus Aussie Sevens final. Yeah, I think they're playing in the semis, right? Thoughts on the greatest rivalry tour later this year? I'm excited, but at the same time, I wish we had a rugby championship. Just because I think last year's rugby championship was literally the best we've ever had. And now we have a year off from it. So I would have loved to be able to have a world where we get both. But sadly, international rugby only has a certain window that it can work with. Craig Casey, pick and go from him. Now popping the ball up to Evan O'Connell. We're playing on a little bit longer here. 17 points to 7. The scoreboard's been in sleep mode today, but now it's caught up as Niall Scannell looks to add some more points. Oh, drop ball. And that one's going to be picked up by Cameron Arnicom, who has also dropped the ball. Though it stays on the side of the Bulls. Kanan Moody goes for the chip in behind. Has an advantage over. It's an awkward bouncing one. Ruan Nokia manages to clean it up. Oh, Robillard. That is now going to be advantage over. Billy LaRue looking for the chip in behind, but the ball steeply bounces to Alex Nankabell running onto it now. It is going to be the centre peering counterpart or teammate in Sean O'Brien. Now across to the left. Munster getting much needed possession here. Oh, that's going to be a knock on. Now going back. Oh, that's going to be a forward pass from Elric Lowe. Through the legs from Craig Casey. Luckman knocks it on. We have got there Arnie Slot sacked. And also, yeah, if they win their quarterfinals, then they play each other in the semis. And it means the first time you meet a girl, it's all about attraction. But after they talk and you see what's most without making, the charm is over. Right. Okay, so that's where that saying comes from. And have your quiz mates finished? Are they looking to roll it out financially? Were they happy with our contribution, says Flesh? So they are going to be doing the Leinster versus Lions game later on. But, yeah, I think it's still in the very early development stage just at this point in time. But they were very thankful that we were able to help them get some feedback on it because you guys were quite good in terms of letting them know what was working, what wasn't. But yeah, that Leinster Lions one will be the last one. I think Crusaders winning Super Rugby Pacific, says Kevin. How's the weather in Spain? It was extremely hot last time. 76% wind predictor here in favour of the Bulls. And we have got there, does the ball be slippery at altitude? Lots of handling errors. I think it's the sweating of the players too. They're currently dealing with 22 degrees Celsius. They're just playing I Kissed a Girl by Katy Perry. That's an interesting song for it. Like normally they play like the dubstep and bit of Sweet Caroline, but they've decided a little bit of KP out there at Loftus. Well, Niall Scannell gets some injury repairs. Are you doing the other two games? We certainly are, yes. So the next game will be taking place in 1 hour, 50 minutes time. That is Stormers versus Cardiff. And then the one after that is at 7 a.m. New Zealand time, Lions versus Leinster. Looks like, there's a bit of cloud cover now. That sun has just disappeared. Been seeing a lot of talk about Bordeaux versus Hurricanes. What's your take on that? Everyone just loves a good old bit of drama, don't they? That's pretty much my take on it. It's a metaphorical thing that until the Club World Cup happens and until those clubs potentially play each other, we don't actually get any sort of result from. So it's just another thing that rugby union fans can argue to each other about while we're waiting for internationals. But if it plays in Bordeaux, Bordeaux win it. If it plays in New Zealand, Hurricanes win it. If you play it on neutral ground, that's probably when it gets interesting. But the thing is, Bordeaux wouldn't send their best team to New Zealand anyway because they probably wouldn't want to risk injuries outside of the top 14. Now going away to the right-hand side, Haley moves forward. And New Zealand wouldn't send their best team to France either because they'd have them probably in the internationals because that's the only window Super Rugby guys would be able to do it in. Now going back across to the left-hand side, Casey moves it on now with the wide. Cut out pass, Billy LaRue defending out wide. Gets around the ankles of Jack O'Donoghue. Now back across, Casey goes to Evan O'Connell. Now O'Donoghue again. Tackled by Elric Lowe. The only thing about their site for me was I couldn't talk on the chat. You were on a phone, right, Fleshin? They said on that, or before that first one, they said that that's one thing they're still trying to work out how they can adjust it because it seems to be some phones don't let you do it. But a couple of them, they're pretty smart with their coding and whatnot. So I think that they'll find a way of working around it. But it's very much hectic in terms of Super Rugby wise. I couldn't really play it because I was too busy doing everything else. Now ball going up, Craig Casey going to Wickerley. Slowly building the phases here. They're up to 13 in a row here. This one's just not really moving. Yes, this morning I was CS Fleshin. And also we have there Munster busy bailing out their accounts. We've got please answer. How many do the Blitzbots need to go first points? Well, it's the same as yesterday, Mohadin, because it's a 3-day tournament and it's a 3-match series in terms of, or 3 competition series. So ask me after the Bordeaux competition and I'll tell you that they've either won or they haven't. Because up until then, it all depends on their recent results beforehand. And they haven't had those results yet. But now, sitting about 3 metres out from the line, Jeremy Luckman under the penalty advantage here for Munster. Looks like Hodnett. No, he was waiting for it early. Craig Casey goes across to Nankerville. Short ball. O'Brien thought about offloading. Really nicely done by Marcel Kurtz. Craig Casey taking a little while to get that pass away. There is the advantage now, though. Going away to the right and Alalatoa. That looked like he was going to be over. Now they are Munster and they get back into this game 32 minutes in. And they will now be back within a decent margin. Oh, Australia are currently beating South Africa in the sevens, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, they want to check this one again. Okay, they're just saying they're about how many times they have been offside here too. The Bulls, so that was the official warning even with the try scored, and it looks like it was Alex Nankerville. He puts up the S. Now, I believe that S is for Cameron Soafoa. Back in New Zealand again, a lot of those boys do stick the S up whether you're on the Blues side or not. But just quickly recycled backwards and then got it in. That makes the score now 14-12. Just asking whether or not the kick has gone over. Yeah, they have just checked the grounding and they've said it's all good. What's your go-to movie? I haven't watched a huge amount of movies recently. I did watch the Bourne movies with my parents the other day because they were leaving Netflix and I had never seen them. But that was sad because the first movie, it's like, oh yeah, he's found himself a nice lady and they're all friendly. And then the second movie starts and she gets shot in the head. And it's like, well, that's not nice. So I was confused at that. It's definitely not a love story, that one, is it? Some of these Munster men are suffering out there, says Studs Race. One's going to be kicked off now by the Bulls. Sorry for spoilers as well, although the movies have been out for like 20 years. So if you haven't seen them by now, like myself. Yes, spoiler alert, says operator. My apologies. Cameron Honeycomb, though, winning that turnover. Andre Pollard, though, ready to kick this one towards the sideline. Second, we'll go like this. And we'll go like that. Currently, the Bulls are still considered as the favourites. Less of a favourite than they were at the start of this game, though. Although if they do manage to score themselves the try now, but they're expected to win by about 8. The Bulls at the moment. Now rolling forward. Johan Krobela, he's over the line and got it down anyway. They already had the penalty advantage, but they didn't need him to go back for it. We have any of the ball movies were surprisingly good. Says Fleshin. Yeah, although one of them made not a lot of sense. One of them didn't even have Matt Damon in it, did it? Now Johan Krobela scoring again. That takes the lead back to the 8 points. And now that changes it to say that they're going to win by about 15 by the looks of it. And plenty of moments so happening. Andre Pollard here sitting 3 from 3. There wasn't a Bourne movie. Yeah, not quite, but it was still the Bourne, what was it? The Bourne something. I can't remember what the name of it was, but it was part of the franchise, just not really, because that was when Matt Damon didn't want to do it. That kick has gone over. And that is now going to make the score 24-14. 4 minutes now remaining on this first half period. Munster, they need to score again. Because I don't think they can afford to let the Bulls get out there way ahead in the early stages. He did leave his feet there, Johan Krobela, but he wasn't held by anyone. The ball in again. Says Max Colby there, and the Bulls for South Africa, says Arthur there. They'll call it that so they wouldn't get copyright infringement, says operator. Yeah, it was something to do with Matt Damon. Like, they got rid of the director or something, wasn't it? Or he felt like they couldn't do anything more with the series. So then he went away, but then they brought the director back for the last one or something. Now rolling this ball back for Ambrose Papier. And Pollard says Heaney. An ultimatum. That was one of them. I don't remember what one's which, though. An identity, says Joe Mann. There's another knock on, this time coming from the Bulls. The big man, Evan O'Connell, not able to take that one cleanly. How's the crowd attendance? It looks decent. I think it's always the far side of the field. You don't see as many people in the lower part of the stands. That is purely because of the sun that they have to deal with. But I'm hoping they'll show us the attendance. I'd say probably 10 to 15,000, somewhere around there for this contest. How many points do the Blitzboks need to go first? We're not going to answer that, Mohadeen, because once again, it's not confirmed yet. There's still another whole league. They've got to play in Bordeaux. If they finish dead last in that, they won't even be close to the top 2. But, like, you still got to have the leagues first. They were playing up against the Aussies, and we're about to find out what the result of that one was. South Africa currently leading up against Australia 14-10, so that at least bodes well for them. Now an offload there around the back pass from Harold Foster to Marcel Kutsia. Foster pick and go. I mentioned about how Munster needed a try before halftime, but if we see the Bulls score again, it could be done and dusted. That's a counter ruck from Munster. They're being penalised for it. And we have got there, I do not see Ford versus Ferrari until last year. I haven't even heard of that movie. Stinkump has been having a good game. And Bankford's in the scrum, at least one turnover or two, even a little line break. Now they've decided to kick this one towards the corner here, the Bulls. Nokia making men look like children. Now line out here, about 80 seconds remaining of half number one. Eldrick Lowe pops it back there to Cameron Honeycomb. He goes straight over and he slams the ball down. The Bulls have scored again. And they are now up to 29 points. This one just before the halftime break. And the crowd at Loftus absolutely loving it. Massive smile on the face of Cameron Honeycomb. A chance here. Be able to get into the 30s before this first half is over. This is kind of looking like a full-time score, but we are only 40 minutes in. So, initially he was held up Honeycomb, but then he just slammed past him. URC has badly missed Honeycomb. Yeah, it is great that he is back to 100%. And what a great try. I mean, it sounds like a great try, says Bender. Now, 50 seconds left in the half. Did someone say earlier? Honeycomb is so back. I guess he heard that. Ser Yanko. I think I praised him about the fact that in that loose forward trio, I can't remember what the comparison was. I think it might have been to do with the Blues young loose forward trio about how they get about their work, and I think Honeycomb got thrown into the equation there. And Spring Jocks, Ser Somalese. Kicked off long, taken inside of the 22 by Ruan Vermaak. 10 seconds remain in the first half, and the scoreline is 31-14. I heard of this captain's armband that says, this armband means that I'm the captain. Have you seen one? Says the Kevnator. And Glasgow's going to wipe the floor with the Bulls, says Cameron JK. Oh, it's very hard to tell, though, because I've had some great battles along the way at Scotstoun, although they won't be playing at Scotstoun by the sounds of it. And they lost Blitzbox 14, Australia 24. Oh, see, the Aussies were down 14-10, so they must have got 2 quick fire tries right near the end of that game. What does that mean? Does that mean Kenya go above them? Because they lost by 10. Oh, that changes things a little bit in terms of the playoffs for the sevens, ladies and gents. While we're at the halftime break, we're going to let you know about it. 1 second. We're going to have to have a wee geese here. I don't think they've finished all the men's matches as of yet, but Championship, Valladolid. What do we got? The polls for the men. South Africa. Oh, wait, no, Kenya lost 2 games. Never mind. So they're still their first South Africa. No, they'll go down to second. So second in Pool A. Who do they play in the quarters? Second Pool A, I'm just doing some quick adding up. Second in Pool A, they play Pool C's winner. That was unfortunate because it almost worked out that it could have been South Africa's game after the Stormers versus Cardiff, whereas in this case, their quarterfinal would overlap. So I'm not sure what to do about that, whether or not to try and do it as well, or whether to just stick on one and then give you the update of what's happening. I think it would depend on who it is that they're playing. Do you think the Lions have a chance tonight? Says Kevin. My honest answer, and I know that this is going to sound harsh, but not really. I think that Leinster will come out with an absolute vengeance. Right, so it could be Fiji, South Africa in the quarterfinals, ladies and gentlemen. Anyone turned up to watch in Valladolid yet? Nah. There were like 5 people there when I saw the game yesterday, unfortunately. But the Heat as well, I think they're all hiding up a little bit further. The Lions have 0 chance, says Cameron. How many tries did the Chiefs get? Was it a record against the Blues? Not quite. So they got their second highest ever score up against the Blues. Their most recent highest score was 61, and that was 2009. Dubove, says Corinne. Yeah, but if it's South Africa, Fiji, I'll definitely have to try and do a bit of a balancing act. If the Stormers play as well as I think they can up against Cardiff, it could also mean that by the time that game's taken place, the game should almost be secured for the Stormers. But knowing them, they may try and make it a bit closer just to add a bit more excitement. Didn't even think we could reach the playoffs. A bad start, but good comeback from the Bulls. Springboks stacked Bulls look like Ackerman As finally getting the guys on board, says Heaney. And when are the Black Ferns on? Where are they? 1 second. At 1:11 is where they're going to be playing, and they are up against Spain in the quarters. Australia are up against France, and I think those two sides will then play each other in the semis, the winners of that game. So it's going to be New Zealand versus Australia in a semi, potentially, rather than in the final. The Lions are going to lose every battle on that pitch today, including scrums, hate to say it. But we have to be honest with ourselves, Lions fans, says Galov there. Just showing that run of Kurt Liarensen, nobody. Well, it's a small football city in the middle of nowhere, says Fleshen. Which makes you wonder why they decided that was the best location. Like, surely someone's paying a lot of money to have it there, right? But you'd have to think that they're probably disappointed with the turnout. I was trying to yawn and I almost ate my cable because I got it stuck in between my mouth and my hand. Will Glasgow be favourites next week? Yeah, more than likely. But the Bulls will feel like they've got a pretty good chance to be able to win as well. I'm just going to look through at that most recent game between the two sides. Go here. What do we got? Oh, click there. There. Glasgow up against the Bulls. 21-25 in favour of the Glasgow Warriors for the European Champions Cup. And then Bulls, I think the Bulls beat Glasgow really badly, didn't they? In South Africa, I thought. Oh no, it was actually Glasgow versus Bulls at Scotstoun, and the Bulls lost 21-12. Oh, they bet Leinster bad. Or was that Stormers? Someone bet someone badly that they weren't supposed to, but kind of did. Does New Zealand have any UFC fighter? There's a couple. I don't remember if Kai Kara France is still active. Dan Hooker probably in a bit of that same boat. I think is it Olberg? Is he a Kiwi? Carlos Olberg. There's also another fella who has a YouTube channel who I can't remember his name either. Champions League final conveniently slots in between the Stormers and the Lions quarterfinals. Not a huge soccer fan, but I'll watch the big game if the opportunity presents itself. They want to push rugby in Spain, but sevens didn't work in Madrid. They should try one of the big coastal cities so expats would go, says Fleshen. Have you seen Suzanne Paul coming up your drive? Would you put up a poll? Suzanne Paul coming up my drive. Do I let her in, yes or no? I don't know who Suzanne Paul is. Is that like a well-known person? Or is it like a celebrity? Don't choke, I like your commentary. I couldn't listen to the Afrikaans. Says, any fun stardom? We are going to be here, I should say, all throughout the day. We've got the Stormers game around the corner. And also, if you're still tuning in for that last one between Leinster and the Lions, we are going to have some guys from Next Play coming in once again, and you can potentially win yourself some Super Rugby, or not Super Rugby, it will be URC merch this time. All to do with questions asked around the game in terms of who's going to score the tries, when certain moments are going to happen. It's like a live prediction thing. We have got their Leinster B team. It's not Leinster Island A test team, says Ben. So which team faced Bordeaux? I'd assume that was the A side, right? But then that also same A side won the URC last year. So, yeah, it'll be intriguing to see how it goes for the Leinstermen in their playoffs. Definitely if it's up against like the Stormers or someone. That would be a good game. In fact, that's the kind of game that I want to see. Hamish, it's currently midnight. Yeah, it is. Currently a nice early hour of the morning or late hour, depending on how you look at it. When last have you seen someone chewing gum? I just realised I haven't seen that in years. I've seen a few through cricket. Some people chew gum while they bat. I don't know how you do it because I'd be too concerned about getting hit in the head and then like accidentally swallowing the gum. Or like running. I feel like running with gum is just a risk. I don't know if it's a choking hazard or, well, no, it probably is. And we have got there. Can Leinster get together from last week to beat the Lions? We had heaps of rest, says Kahu. The thing is, I think they're going to be fired up, Leinster, because we actually saw this happen last year for the Leinstermen. I'm going to quickly find it so I can let you know what happened. But from memory, I think Leinster last season just came back with an absolute vengeance. So they lost their semi-final of the European Champions Cup. They then won up against Zebre 76-5. They then beat Glasgow, which was considered as a big win at the time. Their quarterfinal, they took down the Scarlets. They beat Glasgow again in the semi-finals because apparently they didn't like Glasgow. And then they dominated the Bulls in the final, winning it by 25 points. So, fired up Leinster is not a fun Leinster to play. But then the Lions have had some really good stuff this year. They're missing Morne Vandenberg, which I think is a bit of a concern, as well as no Clubber Kanye up front for obvious reasons. But should be a good game. Good close game, hopefully, compared to the last time that the two sides played, which was 31-7 in favour of Leinster only about a month ago. Wessels van Staden, Visa and Rudolph are from the bench, going to take some stopping from Munster. And the thing is, of those guys that you've listed, 2, if not 3 of them are very well known for taking balls from breakdowns. One of them's very well known for squeezing ball. No, never mind. But they're very good at getting those steals in the breakdowns. And Munster, at altitude, they'll start to feel a little bit of that fatigue. But then, if you have someone like a Rudolph just ripping the ball off you every chance that they get, it's going to make it so much more difficult for Munster to find their rhythm. Definitely because we've got to remember as well, they're down by 17 currently. Rather than like a 5-point margin or anything like that, this is now like do or die in the start of the second half. Alliance Van Chill, if Sundowns can beat RB Leipzig, and the Lions can beat Leinster. Imagine if Leinster don't make the final, they're huge favourites to win the URC, says Kahu. Which is quite interesting. I think that people still underestimate Glasgow. Because Glasgow, heading into this competition, we're regarded as about the 8th favourite or something, or like way down there. But they're a good side. Well drilled, decent in defence at times. Wonder how long I could drink water for before you guys think I've just malfunctioned and you just leave. I think one day I should test it. I'll fill up a water bottle fully and then just sit there and drink it for like a good solid 2 minutes. See what happens. Pump that water. Says Jason. But what I will do, ladies and gents, is we were talking about the benches before. I might as well show you exactly who is going to be making their way onto the field. One second, we go like this. And we go like that as well. So Fiji are currently about to play up against Spain in the 7s. USA are currently losing to France. I'm curious about that Fiji-Spain game because that determines a lot. But looking at this bench, Yandre Rudolph, Kobus Visa is there. Also the experience of Sergio Pedersen. See, Gavin Coombs, though, is a little bit of one for Munster that I think could change this game a bit. And normally Niall Scannell absolutely empties his gas tank to then have Barron make his way off the bench. I use a straw, it will test the viewers. Should I get one of the, those straws that have the circles on it and all sorts? One of those, bendy straws that go all around? And just absolutely slurp it just to see who I can ignore. Or, sorry, not ignore, anyone who I can annoy. Any excuse for a break, says Sven. What, as in a water break on 12 hours of streaming? No, I surely can't deserve one of those. We have got, hello lads, it's been a while, says Cited. Now Andre Pollard kicking this one off here. Down towards the 22-metre line, nicely taken. That one's going to be nicely claimed as well. You should get a hat with straws. That would be fun. Couple cans up there, Fanta. This is giving me all sorts of ideas. Hello, lads. It's been a while since Cited. Welcome back. Just good to see you right at the right time in terms of the playoff games that are taking place. Beer can hat. Now kick downfield from Craig Casey. That one goes into touch. Munster are already off their feet at the ruck, says Fenn. Was that in the second half, or are we talking about the first half? Then if it's heart-shaped, you can say, I love water, says Annie. Wait, if Cardiff or Lions win, Glasgow would play them, I just realised, says Kahu. No, it seems to be that they just have it as the bracket now. So in that case, it would be Stormers or Cardiff versus Leinster or the Lions. That one's going to be knocked on by the Bulls with Andre Pollard. Oh no, in fact, they're going to call the first knock on from Munster. A wee scrum feed for the Bulls. The Bulls look like they scrum better without the ball. Is that a ploy? Maybe. I mentioned about it earlier on that it's not necessarily a bad thing when we see the Bulls without the ball feed into the scrum, because they love a good old shove against the feet, because then that gets the advantage. It gets the defence all sorts of rattled. Expect adult diapers and a catheter. No leaving the commentary. Seriously though, take breaks if you need them. It's a long day. Night of games for you, says Mountains of Asylum. I still say your name wrong, don't I? I haven't actually ever worked out how to actually pronounce that last bit of it. And I think game over. Sorry, Munster fans. If the Bulls scored now, yeah, this one's pretty much, I think, done and dusted. Because that extra 3 from Pollard as well, is it not first place lower seed? I don't think so. I think for this one, it's that the brackets have been determined. Unless, of course, the one that I was reading for the URC was wrong. Now, in Bros Papier, they've got another penalty advantage at scrum feed here, the Bulls. Someone's boot got ripped off. I think that is Harold Foster. He's frantically trying to put it back on now. Gerhard Stennekamp. I'll wait to the left-hand side again. Short ball. That one's dropped by Ruan Nokia. I'll go back now for the original penalty. I think game over. Sorry, Munster fans. Says Kevin. And just start peeling a banana. It would take 5 minutes to actually finish. Yeah, I thought top 10 players, or top team plays lowest seed through the whole playoff, says Kahu. I'm not too sure. This is the one that I saw in terms of the bracket, but we'll have a look on the website, see whether or not they've got a bracket on there as well. Match centre. They might not go that specific. Semi-finals. Okay, it's got to be determined and to be determined. So it could be your way as well, but yeah, the one that I saw was that Glasgow or Munster or the Bulls play on the one side of the draw. What's the temperature on the pitch? About 23 degrees Celsius. If I was you, I'd film the entire commentary while sitting on the toilet. That one has gone away to the side for Andre Pollard, actually missing a kick at the post. Funny if you get it wrong, so no worries. You are closer than other live streams I comment on. Elysium? Elysium? I don't actually know. I don't know what it is. I'll go Asylum for now, even though it's clearly not. I like the fact that you've tolerated me saying it wrong for like a full, at least a year. Now, run there from Kutsia. Yeah, back across to Kane and Moody. Thought about the short ball. Papier back again. 45 minutes through this quarter final. Munster to have a chance. They would need to be the next team to score. It's an up and under. Oh, it was beautifully taken in the end by Mike Haley at the back. I guess we will see. I hope Lions and Cardiff win. Shake up the playoffs would be good. Says Kahu. There's another knock on, this time coming from the Bulls. What if need bathroom? Do you put stream on pause? I've only, on all of the live streams that were done, I think we're close to 2,000 now. But I think the only live stream that I had a toilet break, my dad came on and did 2 minutes of commentary for me. Other than that, I don't think I've had a stream where I've had to leave. I don't think so anyway. I think I'm just sitting on a bucket. You think I've cut the middle of my chair out. I just repeat the same thing every third time you speak and see how long until someone says you're senile. Now Craig Casey with the scrum feed. About 30 metres out from their own line, Munster, with the 17-point deficit. I'm going to quickly have a look again at Spain-Fiji. 55 seconds until that one gets back underway. Or gets underway in general. Munster up to the halfway line. Moving away to Alex Nankivell. He's up the middle. Missed tackle from Foster. It's a couple more metres, mate, there. Your good name pronunciation. Or pronunciator. That's probably come with the job right. Yeah, normally when I get them wrong, I get told pretty quickly. So that has helped with a lot of the pronunciations. Craig Casey offloads it back. That is a knock on, but they'll go back for the penalty here. Okay, shift ruck. You didn't adjust 11 offside. We're from Piari. And who do you see as favourites for the URC? What about Super Rugby? Do you see anyone going to cause an upset in next week's games? See, I think the Canes, even though they lost their game up against the Crusaders, it was a very different looking Canes side. When they get their attack going, they look very dangerous. So I wouldn't put it past them to go all the way. Once look gassed already, says Cider. That is fair enough. It's been a pretty tough tempo that these two sides have been playing at. Looks like I won't describe what part of Brian Gleeson is sore at the moment, but it's in the midriff, and he was adjusting to make sure they were still there. Looks like a couple of changes are about to be made for Munster. Which half are they in now? They're in the second half, so still another 33 minutes remaining here. Play a little bit of YMCA. That's a bit of a banger, isn't it? I don't even know what year that one came out. Now, line out here. Looks like they've actually already brought on Barron. And Gavin Coombs is out there as well. Oh, beautifully stolen off the first line out of Barron. It went straight into the hands of the Bulls. And Gleeson, a great prospect for Ireland. Can you wear a grey or green hoodie so that you are just a floating head? I was going to do that for Halloween. I was going to wear like a full-on green suit and just be floating glasses, but I never really ended up doing it. It's a good clearing kick downfield from the Bulls, although Munster decide to take that one quickly. Haley gets through the first tackle attempt of Klopper. Every breakdown at the moment. Johan Grobela, he had his hands down first, so he will be penalised. Oops, I totally missed the kickoff time for this game, says Xander. Craig Casey has knocked that one on after taking it quickly, deciding that that was the best plan at the time, but just didn't work out that way. He is frustrated too, Craig Casey. Knows that had he been able to break through a little bit further there, and yeah, just out of his reach when he was trying to regather it. Sick, we'll go like that. Fiji versus Spain. The button's not working. Right, still pre-match apparently. I'm keeping a close eye on that one because that will determine whether or not we have a semi-final, or sorry, a quarter-final of the sevens to do. Now scrum with Ambrose Papier being the man to feed the ball in. The loser today is out of the URC. Correct, yes. So whoever loses this game misses out. Whoever wins this game, it looks like will go on to face up against Glasgow. As your time a bit behind 50 minutes, we've got 49-10 for myself at the moment. Now Moody flicks it on the inside to Kutli Aronsa. Oh, it's straight on the ball there. Munster managing to get the clean steal. Moody trying to take it back and all but did, but just let it go at the last minute. And happy birthday to all the Kings on Monday. And we're your green man, Keeney. Says Peanut Slab. I wouldn't even know where to buy one of those from. Why don't rugby players wear gloves? I assume that you would, well, you're not allowed to, right? Because of the chance that it can help you catch the ball. That's a great kick from Munster, and they get the 50-22. However, the Hamish choose people messages to read out, says Mohadino. Normally it's the ones that just go straight into my eyes. is the ones that we read out because they do go so quickly. So normally it's just whichever ones I get in the first glance. But that is a brilliant kick from Munster. 17 minutes. Sorry, 17 points. Still the separation window. Try now, though, could be very intriguing. Last time that these two sides played at Loftus, it was only separated by about 4 points. Good run from Alex Nankervel. Now Casey moving it on. Getting it across. Well, that wasn't a word. I didn't even say anything close to a word there. But what I was trying to say is Arunsa did a great job of pulling out of that because or else he could have had a deliberate knockdown. And I've just thrown that ball to Kurtley Arunsa, who's now thrown it back to Munster, who are back in possession. Now the Bulls, though, onto the ball. Do they get the turnover? No, Trevino Jacobs just couldn't quite reach it. And that one is going to be an accidental knock on. Craig Casey short side, trying to chip him behind. They go back for the scrum again. How's Hamish Craig from St. Francis Bay? And also we have there who's going to play Glasgow, the winner of this game. I believe so. But then it could also be based off the qualifying, like someone said, in terms of the qualifying order. But I believe from what I saw, it was the winner of this game faces Glasgow. Where's a spotted tie and white shirt? I have packed it, so it is with me. But, yeah, it hasn't come out yet. Normally, internationals is when it will come out, more than likely. 28 minutes still on the clock. That interception from Kurtley Arunsa was so clean. It was so unnecessary to give it away like that. It seems like the Bulls got this game sealed up like a fresh rolled samosa. What happened to rugby pads like Habana used to wear? I don't know, because there was this, like, Johnny Sexton. Was it Johnny Sexton? He went through the shoulder pad patch, didn't he? But no one else really wears them. So I don't know whether or not it's because you get a whole heap of stick from your teammates if you do or something. But, yeah, I don't know. Seems like a good idea to try and avoid getting injuries, but maybe it limits like a little bit of mobility or something. Can Munster still come back? And Super Rugby quarterfinal fixtures, please. So it is going to be Hurricanes versus Brumbies on Friday night. Saturday, the early game is Crusaders versus Blues, and then the later game is Chiefs versus Reds. Just the 3 games. Now, that's a big scrum from the Bulls again. But it is still going to be on the side of Munster. Only just Gavin Coombs is out there now. Casey passes it across. It was rush defence there from Eldrick Lowe. He was up extremely quick. Luckman thought about going through. Couldn't quite do so. Now Hanekom looking for the steal. Every single breakdown at the moment. The Bulls feel they've got a chance of being able to rip it away. It's that aggressiveness in the breakdowns, though, that is also going to be fatiguing Munster. Even O'Connell, they're almost back to the 22 now. Munster losing a bit of ground inside ball to Barron. Now Craig Casey's trying to be too fancy, and it's going to cost his side. And Bros Papier runs away. That was stupidity from the Munster 9, and it gives the Bulls their winning try of this contest now. But Craig Casey, he will be wanting to take that one back. I can guarantee you that right now. Deciding to go with a no-look flick pass straight into the hands of the Bulls as they run the full length of the field and score. Would you rather have a hot dog with only mustard or a samosa with the sauce of your choice? The samosa, because I don't like mustard. But Mbros Papia, his second try of the contest here, 54 minutes through. Now, this one will be straight out in front of the post as well. Who scored it was Mbros Papia. I say that's game over for Munster. No coming back from that far back. Definitely not with a motivational or like that completely just ruins your psyche. That's pretty much what I'm trying to say. We have there almost half an hour left. Papia hat trick. I think they'll take him off soon, to be honest. Because he's probably one of those guys that they definitely want to have fully match fit heading into that game up against the Glasgow Warriors. So, for me personally, I think once you get to, what are we at the moment? We're 54 minutes through. I think you get to 60 minutes. You take Papia off. You take Arunsa off. You take Cameron Honeycomb off. Ruan Nokia off. and get rid of some of those guys that are going to be your main factors heading forward. A big run here from Elric Lowe. 55 minutes through, and now the lead of 22 points. Kicked high again. Great Papier, even with all the nines available this season, our best 9 Bok. Now across there, Casey going on the outside to Alex Nankervel. Oh, gets bumped off. Oh no, he's actually hurt his teammate, and Gavin Coombs looks like he's done his knee. Take Andre Pollard off. Yeah, who else have they got on the bench? They've got Stedman Khans. You see, they haven't really picked a guy to replace. I guess you can move Villy LaRue to 10. You want Villy LaRue to stay on? He's past his prime, says Xander. Well, then, by that, comment, that would be exactly why you leave him on, right? Because I was talking about taking the players off who you're resting for the next game. The guys who you're going to have as your starters. So by leaving a guy out there, he might be a starter, but he's not one of those main key players. Now, going away to the right-hand side, Luckman. Looks like the injury again here, this time for Jack O'Donoghue. I think if Munster somehow were able to come back in this game, they'll have about 3 or 4 players out, even more so than they already have had. Oh, no, they're going to have the stoppage here for the player who was injured. We have got there Jan Hendrik Vessels is the OG ball grabber. You want him on ASAP, says Xander. What are you doing after this match? Stormers game not far away. Pretty much getting set up for that game. We are going to be starting that one at 1:15. So that means we've got just under an hour until that one comes up. And we have got there how many they got left on the bench. Which team we talking? For Munster, they've still got a few guys up the sleeve. Do you think 50? I think so. I think that 2 more tries for the Bulls is well and truly doable. 22 excuse. 22 excuse. What does that mean? Like, as in the player 22, made an excuse or something, or what? Currently 24 points, actually, between these two sides, rather than the 22. I have done the maths a little bit better this time. We have got there not that far off the 100,000 subscribers. Yeah, hopefully we'll get there before the end of the World Cup next year. And who do you want to win? The URC, remember me, the Glasgow fan, says Kahu. I don't know. I feel like whoever plays the better ones, me 24. So what's the excuse part of it, though? And we have there was an opportunity for a comeback, but that's gone now. And how is Ravino Jacobs playing? Justa as my go-to. Jacobs has been all right. He hasn't done anything absolutely crazy. A couple decent runs. What are you going to do to celebrate the 100,000 subscribers? We've got to get there first before I start trying to make any sort of plans. Still a wee way away. I feel like, we've made 4/5 of the way there, but we've been going for over 5, almost 6 years, so we can't get too ahead of ourselves. It could be 2028 by the time we get there. We have it there, so good to see Honeycomb back to his best, says WLK. Now, big scrum again from the Bulls, and they will get themselves the penalty here. One just not able to get out of there, Munster. They will be frustrated with that one. Where's Hano? He's actually at the game watching this contest. And here I am being fed up of getting beaten sport now just from work. Anyone with good news for girls, guys, please? I was going to try and give you some Sevens inspiration, but the Sevens Island aren't in there anymore, are they? So that doesn't really help. Good news. Do you like the Crusaders? Because they're at home now for the playoff games. If you like them, one's going to be thrown in. Nokia manages to claim it, gives it off to Paul DeVette. Picked up by Foster, offload to Nokia. He's managed to get round one. Tackle passes off to Foster. Yandre Rudolph just dragged down about 30 metres out. Now across. Going to Kurt Liarense. And Cavell looking for the turnover, but only ended up on the man rather than the ball. Now back across again to Paul de Vet. The Bulls right on the verge of getting themselves another one here. The bounce pass from Andre Pollard to Villy LaRue running down the wings. Trevino Jacobs gets the try. It's always what happens, isn't it? We mention a guy and we say, no, he hadn't had a huge amount of touching of the ball. And then scores the try about half a minute later. We also to find a way to highlight, where'd that go? Highlight the team with possession visually. Says DU Yacht Delivery. We did try at one stage with like a map showing where the ball was, but the problem was with the URC TV app, it was too delayed. So it was actually saying this person's here, they've scored the try before we managed to actually get it. But I'll try and say it a little bit more along the way. That one, of course, was the try for the Bulls with Trevino Jacobs managing to get it. Fun fact, the Springbok scrum has mostly bred out of the Bulls team. He didn't have a lot of space down that touchline to be able to work with there, Trevino Jacobs, but just hugs it. Manages to keep that foot off the ground. These Bulls are making a statement. Munster came to Pretoria thinking they could win on South Africa soil, and they're being taught otherwise, says Yanko. One from Pollard has gone over too. And that is going to make the score now 45 points to 14. And where did you finish the next play quiz today? And I should also mention, we have still got another one coming up later on tonight for you guys who are interested in that quiz. Leinster versus Lions. That one kicking off in 6.5 hours' time. I hope Wilco and yours to be available, or will be available for Glasgow. Now Rick Elite makes his way on for Luckman. We move into the final 20 minutes of this contest. Paul de Vet told to use again. Wilco is good, but Klopp is better. Says Ben, yeah, I mean, Klopp has done exactly what he needed to here. Like, he has nailed it in terms of what he was expected to do heading into that forward pack. And there might even be a chance they consider reshuffling next week. You know, maybe you stick Klopper in the starting lineup. The wide cutting pass goes into touch. I know they were under pressure. Would you say this was a good performance and an expected performance? I'd say this has been a very solid performance from the Bulls. We've got to remember, they're on 45 points. They've still got another 19 minutes remaining. So we call that the Big L quarters, says Henny. But the scrum. They have got the voting for the man of the match just now opening up. Thanks, mate, says DU. A lot of Bulls fans in the stands with their flags out. They'll be hoping that somehow, some way, they can come back to this location for the final of the URC. Now, for that to be able to happen, ladies and gentlemen, it will be a little bit easier to describe when showing the top 8. So, the gist of it is, for the Bulls to have the home final, they would need to beat Glasgow in the semi, and they would need Leinster or the Stormers to lose their next game, and then the underdog, whoever they lost to then beat the higher ranked side the game after in the semis. And then that would be a Bulls hosting. So it's a little bit tricky to get to. All on the inside nicely, back to O'Brien again. Munster, they're just looking to get themselves some sort of momentum heading out of this game. Just to be able to say that they finished on a high. Now another loose ball. That won't help. Rua Nokia takes the ball back. Coming on Honeycomb. Offload to Paul de Vet. Thought about offloading to Cobus Visa. Couldn't quite get it away, but has freed up the hand to give it off to Mornay Smith. Hamish, can you give me 4 random numbers between 1 and 80? As my Keno numbers are like my Super Rugby team and disappointing. Says Jason. 1 to 80 is tricky though. Like, I wouldn't even be able to get 1 to 10 right. Now Stedman Hahn's going for the kick in behind, just trying to play a little bit of territory here. Kicks it into touch and forcing Munster back inside of their own 22. Bulls will beat the Chiefs score at this rate, says Memento. I kind of gave up because I was in bed and missing questions. I only started in the second half, says Fleshin. There was some big points though for that last round compared to the first time that we did it. But I'm normally not too bad at getting them in for the URC games, but I was trying to do far too much multitasking for the Super Rugby one. Will Glasgow be favourites against the Bulls? Yes, because they are at home, and home field normally helps. Right, crowd attendance, 18,756 watching on for this game. And the Bulls need Stormers and Leinster to win. The Bulls can then win the title here in Cape Town. Stormers will beat Leinster, Bulls will beat Glasgow. "17 minutes away. This one much less close than what we saw the last time these two sides played each other, where it was only split by less than 5. This one is pretty much anything but that. Cameron Honeycomb, he will make his way from the field. And that is to bring on Marco van Staden. Just looking at the time of this game, I think it's been running relatively smoothly. It did start at 11. So by the time it finishes, it will be around that 12:50. Yeah, 1 hour 50 is not too bad for a game. We've got to remember there are a couple quite serious injuries. One in particular early on in the game of Thomas Ahern. Going to be a good semi at Murrayfield between Glasgow and the Bulls. Stormers bad on the road. So that semi will be one-sided score for Leinster, says Ben. Line out here. Barron goes in. Oh, slapped back onto the side of Munster. There is a knock-on advantage for the against the Bulls side. Yandre Rudolph completes the tackle. Now, I blame the wife. She keeps chattering to me. As she always says, Hamish and 2 cents sound like South Africans, says Flesham. That one's going to be advantage over. Oh. Is he all right here, Kurt Liarden? So he's just fallen over one of those triangle advertising boards. Looked like he may have twisted something. Hopefully he's all right. That would be a really, unfortunate way of getting injured. If it's not even like a tackle or anything like that, it's a part of the surrounding of the field. And we have got there, why is the game being played so early? All the scoreboard first team's games are at this time. I follow 3 scoreboard games. This game is on at the same time, says WLK. It's actually a really good question. I'm not sure why they went this early, because normally, you go 1:30, 4 p.m. maybe, 4 a.m. for us here in New Zealand. And then you go, nice hands from Billy LaRue, then the 7 being the late game. But I don't know what the reasoning behind going so early was. I mean, it's worked out. If you're the Bulls, though, I guess you could say. Maybe trying to stop any chance of the Jew coming in. But then even if this game was starting at 3, it would be a bit early for the Jew, wouldn't it? Now, big clean out. The breakdown from Mornay Smith now going to the short side with Kobus Avisa. Thought about the steal and the breakdown. They're trying for it. It was the knock on by the Bulls. No giveaways, says Splash TV. Not for this one, and not for the next one between the Stormers and Cardiff, but for that Lions-Leinster game, they are going to be back. Just because it's currently 12:30 a.m. here in New Zealand, so they came down from Auckland for the weekend, and I decided I'd be nice and let them have streams during decent hours rather than the middle of the night. There's no point having 6 of us all staying up till random hours. So, yeah, I've tried to make it so that they don't have to do all-nighters, but instead can just show up at 6:30 a.m. here. But it was quite funny because this morning they came here at about 5:45 a.m. They didn't look like they enjoyed the morning early wake up, that's for sure. I was still wide awake because I had been up all night. So I was still happy as, but they looked like they wanted to go straight back to sleep. But to their credit, they got it all running and it did go smoothly. And hurling all the way, mate, says Dennis. I'm so happy I can witness the game live at the stadium. I'm so proud of my Bulls, says Mark. Another scrum feed here for Munster. And that's going to be a reset. Yes, Hamish is giving away his time, knowledge, and sleeping ability, so he's happy with that. Another table rankings and points finished now that it's finals. I believe so. So I think it works out that whoever wins this game faces Glasgow. That seems to be the general consensus anyway. Maybe it changes if an underdog wins another match, but it seems like that's the most likely. And a half by confirmed. And 5th on the last one. Was Misty, maybe old Jew still left? Now, if it's Stormers Leinster next week, who would be favoured? Probably Leinster, seeing as they'd be at home. Playing a little bit of Seven Nation Army at the moment at the Loftus Field. In front of over 18,000. Attendance for this game. Big scrum again by the Bulls. They're relentless in that department, and Munster just don't seem to have anything to stand on. It looks like they're frustrated too. Pollard wants to take the quick tap, and that is due to Munster having a couple guys down and one going over to complain to the touch judge. Nokia is such a great engine everywhere, and now lost for the Bulls, thanks to Russie, says Ben. And when it's Leinster versus Lions, that one's taking place in 6.5 hours' time. So that is going to be the next opportunity to be able to win some prizes. I think they're actually even doing maybe participation prizes in terms of maybe the top 3 on that one. I'm not 100% sure though. But I think that might have been their original plan at the start of the weekend. 12.5 here. Still remaining on the clock. Spain 14, Fiji 12. Is that the end score, Mohadin? Advantage first knock on was against Munster. Seems like I should go get 6 hours of sleep then, says Gatsanel. Do they deliver to Zimbabwe? They'd have to, I guess. They haven't said that there's any restrictions in terms of deliveries. So I would think if you were to win the URC one, they'd probably buy it out of South Africa to send it to you in Zimbabwe, maybe. But yeah, they said that no matter where it goes, they would have to ship it. So if you win, you win. We have you there. I hope you guys bust that 100,000 and then bust 1 million back out working. And thanks for the great stuff you do, says Dennis. And Mohadin, please give me my 4 numbers, says Jason. And back at it like a crack addict. Damn, going to be a solid rivalry tour, says the AI. Bulls versus Lions final. What are the odds? Not very high, but not completely impossible. Nice carry there from Yandre Rudolph. Going through the middle of the breakdown. I think that player was actually offside for Munster, but it seems like it's going to be play on. Billy LaRue passes across to Kanan Moody. Glasgow was having a South African coach. What do you think? I think they already had a South African coach, didn't they? It's Spain 14, Fiji 12 full time. Okay, so that means that South Africa are no longer playing Fiji in the playoff game. That means they'll be playing Spain. That actually works well for us. But I'm not sure who else is playing who. New Zealand are going to play Fiji, aren't they? That's going to be halfway through this next game. That's annoying. But Roa Nokia going off there to Jan Hendrik Wessels. Oh, Paul the Vet didn't know who to pass to there. He was looking around trying to find that next big forward to run into space, but in the end, eventually, just had to take it to ground himself. Maka van Staden, couple fends from him in the offload to Andre Pollard. And now offload up to Willie LaRue, keeping the ball alive here. The Bulls veterans. Terrible pass from LaRue, but it's picked up into the hands of Mornay Smith. Now not far out from the line at all. Paul DeVette goes to LaRue. Kanan Moody has dropped that ball, just not able to take it cleanly in case he gets wrestled down. So 80% of the match being over and being down by over or more than 30 points, Munster suddenly decided to start defending. And this ball is slippery, says so. Yeah, there's been a fair few handling errors, which of course I don't think the Bulls would mind at all. Because that means that they get a scrummage. And if you give me 4 good numbers, I will accompany Hamish to South Africa when he visits you, says Jason. And go Marco, says Ellie. And also, as Kanan had a single completed positive impact, he set up so much that ended up going wrong. Yeah, well, he had that first forward pass, didn't he? So that didn't count. He had a knock on there, so that wouldn't have counted. I want to say he's had like 1 or 2 good passes along the way, but still building into that playoff type of mindset, I guess. Hello, Hamish don't like me anymore, says Mohadin. And Ozad, does Glasgow have a good scrum? It's decent. I think that the Bulls would still favour themselves in the scrum department, though. They'll be up against more than likely Patrick Schickerling, probably Johnny Matthews at 2, and then more than likely probably Xander Fagerson at 3. I guess my mum says you're handsome and told me to tell you. She can't understand everything you say because of your epic accent. Says, cool story. I do also talk far too fast sometimes, so that doesn't help either. Is Kane still a part of the box? A lot of fans want him replaced. He's going through the Jesse Creel stage. You remember a couple years ago, in fact 3 years ago or so, when everyone absolutely hated Jesse Creel? And it got to the point how anytime Creel was even mentioned, people would have like a massive complaint about it. And now Jesse Creel from there has turned into one of the best 13s in the world. So I think Moody's in that patch at the moment, how everyone wants to get rid of him, but then, you know, he'll develop and then all of a sudden everyone will go, I'm glad that they've put Kane and Moody back in. And we have to act like they didn't go through that patch of bad-mouthing him for like multiple months. You know what? I don't mind if the Reds or the Brumbies get a W next week. Blues need to take that fort. That's for damn sure. Geez, man. I see you next week, H, says the AI underdog. Yeah, see, that Crusaders Blues game, I'll be honest, I was tempted to think about trying to go to it. But at the same time, because of how close Reds versus Chiefs is afterwards, I don't think I'll be able to get back in time for that game. So I think I'll end up just watching them instead. Penalty for too much ball scrum power. Good, says Ben. Oh, that's a big knock on there, though. From Munster back to Jan-Hendrik Wessels. He goes for a chip in behind, changing up the tactics a bit there. Haley gets it to Nankerville. Now, he has actually probably been the best player on the field for Munster out there today. Oh, and a penalty there and off the feet for Jandre Rudolph again. And we have got there, you have to talk fast. We've got there, I'll get Hamish to send you a Christmas card. Do the Bulls have a second life? Or, do the Bulls have a second life and all the teams in front wins? How does it work? Oh, sorry, the Blues, yeah. So in Super Rugby, you have the lucky loser, which is your highest rated qualifier. They get the lifeline. So it's a bit of a confusing one, but last year we saw the Chiefs be the lucky loser, but from being the lucky loser, you can lose home field advantage. For instance, if the Hurricanes were to lose their game next week to the Brumbies, they would then in the semi-final, I believe, have to be away from home from being the lucky loser. Oh, awkward bouncing ball. Now moving forward just that little bit further. Slinging pass, short little flat one. That's another knock on though from Munster. So back on the side of the Bulls, although playing the ball on the ground as well could have been a penalty against Munster there. Just making a few too many errors at the moment. Does it mean the Brumbies would get the home semi? No. No, it would be the next team down. So more than likely it would be Chiefs and Crusaders home semis if they were both able to get the win too. The Brumbies, there is no way for the Brumbies to have a home semi or a home final, I don't believe. Because I think it's only for the week. Oh, if the Brumbies versus the loser of the lucky loser round, maybe they can play at home, but yeah, there have to be a lot go right. Rango Smith is coaching Glasgow, so their scrum is mostly solid, says Henny. And he doesn't help himself either. I've never seen Selman have a good game. And just an average game, you always wonder why he's in the field to begin with. So he's so incredible. Yeah, I'm quite glad he got the Japanese contract, to be honest. Because he'll be making good money over there. And I think he'll find a little bit of his feet. Now, Kane and Moody. Nice offload on the outside for Sir Gilles Pedersen. He's going to be given a huge amount of game time in this contest. I will mention the score has been 45 points to 14 for quite some time here. Now Stedman Khan's inside ball to Sir Gilles Pedersen. Oh, Jan-Hendrik Wessels just tried to do the pass in behind him, but everyone had already left to the other side, so he had to go back, regather. Kurtley Aronson now tackled round halfway. On in the backwards direction at the moment here for the Bulls, although that has not happened too often throughout this game. We have got there, speaking of speed, Hamish commentates. Hamish, have you always spoken so fast from childhood, or did it only start from you doing the commentating on YouTube? I think it only started from the commentary on YouTube. To be honest, I don't think I normally talk that quick. Anyway, nice run from Ruan Nokia. Passes off to Sir Gilles Pedersen, and he should be taken down. Yes, he is 5 metres out, waiting for the offload, and that's knocked on by Andre Pollard. There's going to be no offside either. Kick downfield from Munster, so that will be advantage over, but they managed to clear it into touch. It should have been a try, says so incredible. I thought Sergio Peterson would have had the pace, to be honest, to go all the way and score that one, but didn't quite do it. Butchered, says Jimbo. The Bulls playing Sunday afternoon touch rugby, says Cool Story. There had to be a try. How the F did they give that away? Yeah. It would have been the half century for the Bulls, which of course is a massive momentum booster heading into that game up against Glasgow Warriors. They have lost to Glasgow twice throughout this season, but that does not mean that it will happen again. We have there, is Pollard a strong runner or is he more of Nas Botha? Where strength is in the kicking. I think he's more of a tactical player, Andre Pollard, in terms of, like, he can do a decent run every once in a while, but like he's very much so looking to set up the guy on his outside. Pollard with his running style coming to the Bulls are good. Almost 90 tries this season for the team. Great team player, says Ben. And the Bulls playing an awesome game today, says Francois. And Ambros Papier, he had a phenomenal game too. He is going to be receiving that Man of the Match award with about 79% of the vote, I believe they said there. Oh no, Sergio Peterson may have actually hurt his shoulder here. I don't talk that fast and immediately launches into horse race mode. Yeah, that wasn't the best timing, was it? A young Pollard could run, says Francois. Cardiff to get over 15. Over 15 points, they should, but it all depends on how they go. You know, like, Stormers will be mad. And they'll want to go out there and really, cement a big old victory in their favour. Fish, and I think I may do that as well, says Dimitardo. Now, there's going to be the line-out throw for Johan Robillard, taken by Elric Lowe. Pollard. Oh, no, another drop ball from the Bulls, although they've ruled that as backwards. Just seems like both sides are happy with the scoreline. The Bulls wouldn't mind one more, but they keep on dropping the ball when they want to get that last try. Munster, they haven't touched the ball for quite some time in enough phases to be able to create anything. Not butchered shoulder injury, says Jimbo there. Will Juster be back for the semis? I'm not too sure about his timeline. Cheers, Will Juster. I know that a lot of people will want to see that man back. That one's going to be a cross kick. Definitely if Sergio Peterson is injured. Now, Kanan Moody close to the sideline. He gets wrestled out. What is this from Munster? Says BTW Padzer. And how does the lucky loser work? It's the top 3 wins. Do the Blues have to win? No, so if the top 3 win, the Blues get through as the lucky loser because they'll be the highest ranked qualifier who have lost. So, for instance, if the Hurricanes lose next week, no matter what, they're through to the semi-finals. If the Hurricanes and the Chiefs lost, then the Chiefs would be out. The Hurricanes would take that lucky loser spot. If that makes sense. It's a little bit confusing, but it's pretty much the highest ranked loser out of the 6. They go through to the next round 2. 3 minutes remaining. Paddy, have you been taking part in the Next Play quizzes, by the way, or have you been absent? I can't remember. But if you're here at 7 a.m., although you might have golf on, but if you're here at 7 a.m., jump on in. You may be able to win yourself some merchandise for either the Super Rugby or the URC competition. Pollard is so good and Moody can still be dangerous. And who is Paul the Vet? Where does he play? He is the number 9 replacement. Used to be at the Stormers, Paul the Vet, but now is with the Bulls, thrown in, line out. All taken by Gavin Coombs. Just the 2 minutes remaining on the clock, so this score is pretty much set in stone in terms of the winner. They still want one more run from Andrew Smith. He's had a quiet old day at the office. Now Nankerval, 3 men on his outside. The Bulls are doing very nicely in their destructive defence. Rushing forward, shutting down the space, causing all sorts of problems for Munster when they try and get any sort of attack running going. I ain't doing golf tomorrow, says BTW. Now O'Brien. Thought about going to the right again. Now decides against it. The chip in behind. Johan Krobala manages to clean that one up quite nicely. Now De Vet. To Stedman Khans. He has got Yandre Rudolph with him. Although he doesn't decide to go as of yet. Delays the pass a little bit more. Gets it out to Ruan Nokia. Now the pace of Paul De Vet. Stepping on the outside. He's been wrestled down and put into a ball there. He might be a little bit injured. Now, an offload, Andre Bollard, he'll be 2 metres short. He thought he was going all the way. Ball stolen by Munster in the breakdown. The Bulls trying to take it straight back. But I think it's going to be... No, it's the side of the Bulls. And now with 1 minute left on the clock, Elric Lowe goes closer. Munster told to get out of the breakdown. Paul de Vet passes it out to Kane and Moody. There's obstruction there and the penalty awarded to Munster. Moody's try will be disallowed. Sounds like woke culture, lucky losers and everyone gets a medal. Kind of, but it is also just because there's 6 teams in the playoffs. So 6, like they didn't want to have it that. In fact, it's almost less than having 8 out of the 11 sides going through. Because 8 out of 11 means that you could win like 3 of your games of the year and still qualify for the playoffs. So they've decided to take 2 teams out of the equation for the sake of keeping one side in for that, if that makes sense. So you get almost less people as everyone's a winner than the other scenario of quarterfinals. Now going off to the left-hand side. Oh, flat pass. And they've ruled it as forward. There is the siren too, so I think they'll just call this one the end of the game. And Munster have been defeated at Loftus, 45 points to 14. The Bulls take their spot in the semi-finals. I believe they are playing the Glasgow Warriors next week. It's going to be a good game. In the stadium, says Vayan there. And not quite plus 42, but very dominant performance. Says Jimbo, and yet another move from Moody that doesn't get finished. Says Youngko. And there as well, but nonetheless, our next live stream is going to be taking place in around, I believe it's 23 minutes time, ladies and gentlemen. So if you are new to the channel, of course, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. But yeah, we will see you all for the next one.